Thank you. So let us all please welcome President-elect Bayliss Ward.
Nope, sorry, I got my coffee. Hello, thank you. This has been great. Let me start off by saying, with me, what you see is what you get. I'm just a plain spoken Montanian, even though I was born in Texas. I don't stand on formalities. I hope you find me approachable. I won't bite. And I want you to know that I'm interested in what you think and what I can learn from you. So, standing here in front of you today, I'm aware that everything we do is a team effort. Everything we hope to accomplish in the coming year will happen because you are engaged in this journey of going further. As I've thought about everything related to becoming an NCARB president, I've reflected on my years of service as a member board member, as an NCARB committee member, I don't know, 14 years of it, and more recently, my experience on the board of directors. I appreciate the role and the process of the board may sometimes appear unclear or mysterious, but please know that the board works diligently to lead the council forward, and that this is great appreciation for and the confidence in the work of all of our volunteers and our staff. Okay, I think sometimes we inflate the role of selected bodies, and even at the level including the NCARB board of directors. The board of directors may not be what you think it is. So we don't micromanage or second guess the work of all of the committees. We don't vote constantly on every action that is really the work of our volunteers and our staff. We lean into open-ended conversations about the position of the council to position the council strategically. How can we best fulfill our mission to help you facilitate licensure? So how can we put our best foot forward in engaging the colleagues across this architectural community? What is good policy that validates the hard work of all the volunteers? What is realistic to offer to you, our member boards? How can we make sure that we are aware of the voices outside of our room here? Throughout the year, I will use my presidency to lead discussions on how to improve communication, remain accessible, agile, and strengthen our ability to tell our story. One of the great privileges serving on the NCARB board is the opportunity to work with bright and talented colleagues from around the country. This work could not be accomplished by myself. All of this work is a major team effort. Is with the board of directors, NCARB staff, which is amazing, and the almost 400 volunteers that I put on committees. All of you inspire me. I will need every ounce of your skill sets as we travel together for the next year so we can accomplish what we really are set out to do. So, what do we want to do? We have just completed 3 phases of the most comprehensive analysis of practice in the history of NCARB, okay? So in the coming months, we'll be mining all this data for ideas, indicators regarding how our licensure toolkit might grow, evolve, or possibly change. It has still emphasized the rigor for the reason that we'll be intentionally looking at of ways that we might be able to adjust the tools to make licensure more accessible and to remove any unnecessary impediments. These impediments, they may stem from outdated approaches, unconscious biases, or well-intentioned but overly complicated steps. So, those of you serving on the committees, you'll be challenged by new charges. They're going to ask you to explore a variety of paths. Acknowledge that there are multiple ways to get to the licensure threshold. We will build on the work of this past year at the committee table and throughout the analysis of practice with all the interviews, the focus groups we've had, and the surveys. So, to support this work, I'm going to establish 2 new task forces, and they're going to be there to review the data, explore the options, and to advise the board of directors. One of the task force will be reviving the research and development task force, but we're going to focus on licensure tools and models. Another task force that I want to do will focus on competency. There's that word, right? How do we measure it? What does it mean? How can we be realistic about the elements of new licensure versus the skills of our seasoned professionals? So, in the meantime, the larger issue of encouraging a continued DEI focus is our culture and is paramount. I am charging the Diversity Collaborative to explore how it might stimulate ongoing conversations, provide important insights, and help encourage new and seasoned volunteers from all different backgrounds, to consider serving in leadership. So this is one area of the forever work that Alfred's mentioned, and I agree with it 100%, that we will and continue to incorporate this in NCARB's mission. So speaking of forever work, I'll be reflecting on my opportunities to engage with the licensed advisors and others. Based on those experiences, we'll be putting some renewed emphasis on how we can conduct outreach to the many communities impacted by NCARB. In the coming year, we'll be experimenting and reinventing our current outreach strategy, increasing the frequency, the depth of our engagement with the practitioners, the academy, and more importantly, the students. So, using our superior communication platforms, our talented volunteers and staff, we will position the next generation of architects to have a meaningful coaching and mentoring experience. So we have a great story to tell. You know, the continuous improvement to our services gives us the opportunity to raise awarenesses and correct misinformation. We can build on a strong foundation with additional tools, resources, and strategies. You know, last year we released a report on the differences in the exam pass rates between race and ethnicities. In doing so, we were one of the first regulatory organizations in any profession to share this information and establish a baseline for which we can measure this for future progress. This work will also be informed by our joint work with NOMA. It's something that we've partnered on, and we're going to continue to go further. We are currently convening a series of focus groups exploring challenges and pitfalls on the path to licensure. We are gathering and refining ideas for action that we can take to help improve access to this profession. So, I want to take a moment to address the topic of governance, and this is going to be through the lens of the DEI. Our Diversity Collaborative has wrestled with the issue and made proposals to our board. Some of their proposals went forward and adopted last year. The remainder were tabled to provide us more time so we can take the governance and DEI consultants to explore the options that's the best fit for this organization. I also anticipate that out of the DEI workshop discussions at this annual meeting, we will have guidance and solicit feedback from our entire membership regarding our governance model and how it might be refreshed. So, in the incoming months, I'm standing up a special work group. And this is going to be to assess the workshop data, the feedback from our boards, feedback from the Diversity Collaborative, and the information that we have gathered over last summer with the focus groups. And this information will be utilized, and the work group will be charged with developing the first draft resolution on governance to be reviewed by our board of directors in September. The board deliberations will lead to additional engagement with you, our voting members. The board will continue its discussions in January and offer a draft for your consideration in the weeks leading up to March Regional Summit. After we have the board discussion, that will occur in April. Hopefully, we'll be putting this proposed resolution on the docket for next year's annual business meeting in Tampa. So this work group will be comprised of He'll be the past president, Alfred Ferdari, first vice president, President-elect John Baker, the Region 1 and the Diversity Collaborative founding chair, Jennifer Arbuckle, Region 3 vice chair, Kathy Morrison, and the Rethink Tank alumnus and community volunteer, Coffee Polk. This group's going to be supported by NCARB's Chief Operating Officer, Mary D'Souza, and she's going to be acting as the staff liaison. Our governance consultant, John Hockman of McKinley Advisors, which a lot of you met yesterday, will also be providing subject matter expertise, including perspective on the stakeholder feedback. So I want to thank these volunteers in advance. It's a very impressive group. I know they're going to work diligently. We're going to have to. And we're going to have the ability to design an approach that will guide the discussions in the months to come. So I am committing to leading us through this discussion. But again, this isn't about me. This is about we, or us. Okay? Together, through listening and engagement, I know that we're going to find the right path forward. So you can tell from my video, I'm a proud Montanian, transplant. Montana is a beautiful state. It's got everything. Big sky, and it's the name of this, the motto of the state. But we've got huge vistas, rugged landscapes, and some of you might know I'm kind of an occasional hiker, but I like to do wildlife photography. And I'm reminded that sometimes when you have the patience, sometimes you have to pause, you have to take stock, and sometimes when your end goal seems distant and inaccessible, it helps to consider how far you've already come on this journey. So when we look back on how we've grown and evolved, it's truly incredible. Our pipeline, the pipeline customers is very healthy at this organization. Our alliances, stronger than ever. Our ability to support and engage our member boards is unprecedented. The commitment of our volunteers and staff is undeniable. But there's still more we can do. We can go further if we stay focused on inclusion, regarding both on the licensure path and regarding NCARB's leadership opportunities. We can go further if we double down on telling a story that is as much motivational as it is informational. And we can go further when we embrace new ideas, application of data and research, and experimentation. I really want to thank my board from Montana. I was on there for about 14 years. They've been so supportive. My friends from Region 5, and all of you. You've kept me honest. You provide incredible feedback along the way. Lastly, I'd like to thank my wife. She's out there somewhere. And my son. Whew. Sorry about that. It's cold. Anyway, the support has just been amazing. This is a group that, along the way, the encouragement as we step, we just keep taking a deeper step into NCARB's work is amazing. And I really want to thank you for this opportunity, and thanks for being with us on this journey. Thanks.